So yeah, so where I left. So introduction. It actually Swift is introduced at Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference of 2014, and it is open source at the end of 2015. So it is already available on platforms like Linux. It is not available on Windows so far. So if you have a Mac or Linux, you can start working with Swift. And we can already use Swift for building server-side applications also. You can go through some of the frameworks which are available like Vapor, Kitura, Perfect, Zivo, all those frameworks. And writing Swift code in a playground lets you experiment with code and see the results immediately without the overhead of building and running an app. So it will be very helpful for learners like you to use Playground. So Xcode is coming with a Playground option. So where you can try the Swift code. So it is a lightweight development environment. So you can whatever Swift code you write, you can see the output immediately without any additional packages like building, running, simulator, all those things. So you can try Swift syntax, build algorithms, all those things. So it will be very helpful for you. The Playground feature will be very helpful for like learners like you and trainers like me. Okay, so initially when we start our session, like for like first 2 3 modules, we will be working with Playground only. So that is one of the beautiful features available that comes with Xcode. And so some of the so you are new for iOS application development, but people like me, like when Swift was introduced, we are surprised like so then what to do with Objective C? Is it still there or not? So all those questions came to us. So actually Objective C is still around. You can now even now you can create iOS application using Objective C, but people prefer Swift because it is modern. Also, Apple developed the Swift specifically for iOS application development. So take Objective-C, so it is a very old programming language and it is not developed for iOS application. It is actually developed for creating an OS named Next Step OS. So that is a separate history. We'll learn about that later. So Apple took that Objective-C programming language and they used it for iOS application development. But if you take Swift, it is modern, it is easy to learn, it is simple, and it is safe. So developers prefer Swift. So we are also going to learn Swift. For now, Swift and Objective-C both are supported. And actually, interesting thing is they are interoperable, which means you can have a project with both Swift code and Objective-C code. They can interact with each other. You can call a Swift method from Objective-C method, Objective-C method from Swift class. Okay, so Swift and Objective-C are interoperable. So you need a compiler that compiles both Swift language and Objective-C language, right? So we are using a compiler called LLVM. So Xcode is the development environment on which we are going to develop our application, and it is having a compiler called LLVM compiler that compiles Swift, Objective-C, C code, C++ code, all those things. Okay, so that is a simple introduction about Swift programming language. The latest version is 5.2.4. So this is the version history. So it is just around 6 years old. So Swift 1.0 is introduced in 2014. So the Swift 1, 2 and all like people haven't used it much because it was not stable. Starting from Swift 3, it is stable and people started using developing lots and lots of application. Currently we are in Swift 5.2.4. They're continuously developing it, improving it, and it is a stable version now. Okay, so this is about Swift version history. So let's get into the codes, look into Xcode and see how things work. So far, is it good? Able to follow?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a simple table. So first, let's understand what is a table view or a table UI component. It's a UI component, okay? So it is used mostly in iOS, Mail, iPod app, Safari browser, settings, contacts application. So table view is very common and most used iOS UI component. Okay, so table view on iOS display a single column of vertically scrolling content divided into rows. So each row you are seeing in a table view is called a UI table view cell. So simply we can say wherever you see a list of data in your phone, that is a table view. Okay, it looks different because we can customize it in many ways, but basically that is a table view, and each row you are saying will be having a piece of data, and each row is called table view cell. Okay, you can group related rows together, and it is having a lot of built-in facilities like scrolling, selecting rows, swipe and delete, all those things. You can add buttons, images, subtext. Okay, so all possibilities. You can customize your table view in whatever way you want. Okay, so this is a table view. So we are going to create a table view. Okay, so let me open Xcode. So I am actually using Xcode 11.5. So I have to update it. Most probably I'll update it tonight. I'm going to create a new project for now. So I'm not going to use Playground. For this demo purpose, let's start with the project and create a table view. Then when we start learning Swift syntax, we'll move back to Playground. Okay. So this is a templates, a list of templates available. So it will give you a boilerplate code on top of which you can write your code and customize your application. So like a single view application is the one I'm going to choose. Application with only one view, like take calculator application in your phone as an example. So it is having only one view. You cannot go to some other screen, right? So that is a single view application. Single view application is very rare. So like you cannot take some other example. Only example I came up with is calculator. But for this demo, like small applications you want to try out, you can go with single view application. So that too, people stopped using single view app now because we have Playground. Okay, so we are going to choose single view app just for this demo purpose, and I'm going to name my product as sample table. Okay, so and team, you can integrate your Apple ID developer account to your Xcode. So and organization name, bundle identifier. Bundle identifier is actually the unique ID for each and every app available in the App Store, which is nothing but your organization name dot your product name. Okay, so Raj dot sample table. And language, as I told you, still Objective C is available, so you can choose either Objective C or Swift. So I'm going to choose Swift. And user interface, we have two options, storyboard, and the latest modern option is Swift UI. So that is very interesting. We'll learn about it later. For now, I'm going to stick with storyboard. So don't worry about all these options. I'm just going to leave it unchecked. Next. So I'm going to save my application at developer folder. Create. Okay. So once you create your application, so it will give you three class files, .swift with .swift extension, app delegate, scene delegate, and view controller delegate. Not view controller delegate, sorry, view controller.swift. And we have two storyboard files, main.storyboard and launch screen.storyboard. So launch screen is the place where you will be designing your splash screen. Like in layman terms, you can call it as a loading screen. When you launch your app, take Facebook for example, you will see Facebook logo for a couple of seconds, right? So that is a launch screen. You can design it here. And starting from the screen one, main screen you're seeing, so you have to design it here. So we'll see about this app delegate and seed delegate later, not in this demo, a little bit technical. For now, like view controller.swift is a place where you will be coding, and main.storyboard is a place where you will be designing your application, right? So we are going to create a table view. So give me 1 minute. Yeah, sorry for that. Okay, so yeah, so this is our storyboard and this is my view controller. It is like a frame which holds the view. On top of the view, we can add whatever UI object we want, like buttons, labels, text fields, text view, sliders, which so you can choose the object from this object library by selecting the plus icon on the top right. So if you click on the plus icon, you'll be able to see list of objects, UI objects. You can simply drag and drop whatever UI object you want. Okay, so I am going to search for UI table view. So actually you can see the simple definition from Apple's documentation right here from the list itself. So if I, for example, if I search for button, you can see a simple definition about the button. You can set title, image, you can change the appearance. So what all the things are possible. It actually sends an action when tapped. Similarly, like since you are a beginner, you can go through the definitions from here. That will help you to know about the objects. So I just dragged and dropped a table view. I'm going to make it full screen. Okay, it's going to cover the whole screen, and I'm going to add constraints. So we'll learn about constraints, size classes, stack view, all those things later. Just this is going to fit the whole screen. So I'm setting up the margin to 0 everywhere. So in whatever screen size, even in iPad, if you run the application, the table view will cover the whole screen. So that is the idea, right? So I'm going to set it right like this and add it for constraint. That's it. So as I explained in the slide, so table view is not just the table view. Each row you are seeing in the table view is the table view cell object. So that cell will be holding the data, right? So we have to add a table view cell. So just one table view cell object is enough. Even you can load 100 cells by writing some code. I will explain it like when you move to view controller.swift file. So that's it. That's it about the design part. We just dragged and dropped a table view and a table view cell into it. That's it. Okay. Now coding part. So I'm going to add extension controller UI table view data source. So there is a protocol. So protocol is a like actually Swift is commonly called as protocol oriented programming. So it is a programming paradigm. So like object oriented programming, functional oriented programming, Swift is a protocol oriented programming. So if you want to achieve a specific task, you can conform any class or structure or enumeration can conform to a protocol and follow the set of rules defined by defining the mandatory methods available in the protocol. You can achieve some task. Okay, so that is the basic. So we are going to use the table view delegate and data source methods, some of the mandatory methods, to achieve implementation of table view. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So don't worry about the syntax or what is extension, all those things. So all these basics, when we start, we'll learn about it. So just I am conforming to UI table view data source protocol. So once I conform to it, you can see I'm getting an error. So it is asking me to define all the mandatory methods available inside the data source. So you can simply click on it and click fix. So these two are the mandatory methods. So one is you must tell the compiler how many rows you want in your table view. So without that, your table view will not load. So telling the number of rows is mandatory. So if your number of rows is dynamic, you can use an arrays count. So whatever array on which you are holding the data, you can use the arrays count here as a number of rows. But for now, we are not going to complex it. I'm just going to return a static value as 10. So our table is going to have 10 rows. Okay, so that's it. That's it about number of rows in section method. So we are told the compiler that my table is going to have 10 rows. That's it. So now cell for row at index path. So this method, in this method, we actually have to do three things. First one, we have to create a cell, and then we have to add data to it, and at last we have to return the cell. That's it. Okay, let me explain one by one. First, creating a cell. Let cells equal to table view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier or index path. So let me explain things one by one. So let and var is for declaring a variable. Let is for constant variables, and var is for like variables that you can change the value after assigning some value to it. That is var. So we are creating a constant variable let. So and the name of our cell is just cell, and there is a method called deque reusable cell. So I'll explain what this method exactly doing in our slide. So after this demo, in the slide, I will explain this deque reusable cell. And index path is the unique ID for each and every row in your cell, in your table view. Okay, so index path dot row will give the row number. It works same way as an array. It starts from 0. So if you have 10 row, first row number is 0, second is 1, third is 2. If I delete row 1, automatically it will move up. Second row will go to first position, third row will go to second position, like that. So index path is a unique ID for each and every row, and cell identifier. So the purpose of the cell ID is you can actually have multiple kind of cells in the same table view. So first 4 cell will look different, and another 10 cells will look completely different. So different kinds of cell object you can add in a table view, but we are not going to do all those things right now. So we are going to use only one identifier, and I'm going to set the same identifier in my storyboard. Okay, I'm selecting the cell. I'm setting the reuse identifier I gave in my code cell. Okay, that's it. We created a cell. So next is add some data to the cell. We can have we have three default properties for the cell: title, subtitle, and image. Okay, so apart from that, you can customize it in various ways. You can add review stars, you can add buttons, all those things. But I'm going to give a simple title for my cell. Okay, cell dot text label dot text is equal to hello world. That's it. So we gave a title for our cell, and at last return the cell we created. Okay, that's it. So this part is also done. So the last and most important thing is you have to link the delegate and data source method. So unlike the normal function or method we create, so we'll be calling that method, right, using the instance name. But this delegate method should be triggered by the compiler whenever it is necessary. So we don't know when it needs to be called. So it will be taken care by the compiler, but we have to do something to get it called. So you have to control click on the table view, link it with the view controller, and set to data source. So we didn't write any delegate methods. So delegate methods are non-mandatory. They are all optional. Like what should happen when I select a specific row? What should happen when I swipe the row? So we are not going to do all these things right now. We just created a simple table. So I just linked the delegate. Okay, now let me run the application and see. Okay, that's it. So this is our simple table. So you got it right. You have any question to ask?
No, looks, yeah.
Okay.
It's,
Okay. Let me open the presentation then. So yeah. So some things I have to explain in detail. First is delegate and data source. So this you should understand because we'll be using this delegate and data source a lot.
this
Okay.
is a segue, right?
This is not a segue exactly. A segue is basically if you have multiple view controllers in your application. For example, this is the only one view controller we have. So if I run my application, I cannot go anywhere, right? But if you want to go to another view, if I select a specific row, if you want to make the application move to a new view controller by showing some details. For example, take your email application as an example. If you select the email, specific email, you're going into the details, right? So if you want to make your application work that way, you can add another view controller. Okay, and you can create a segue between these two. Okay, control click and drag, show. So this is a segue between two view controller.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, about delegate and data source. So delegates and data source, like a delegate is an object that acts on behalf of or in coordinate with another object. Okay, so it is like passing the responsibility from one instance to another instance. Okay, it is a little bit difficult to understand right now, because it is the concept. You should understand protocols first, and then we can move into delegate. It is basically for communication. I will give a general definition. So I know about like design patterns, right? MVC, MVVM, all those things. So when you create a project, so all your model classes will be separate. That will be interacting with the server or database, and your view classes will be separate. So the communication between this model and view will happen with the help of this delegate and data source methods. Okay, so that is a general definition. I don't want to go in depth right now. So that is one thing. And so the methods under table view, delegate, and data source. So there are so many methods, but you must define the mandatory methods. Other things are optional. If you want, you can use. Otherwise, you can leave. We just use couple of mandatory methods. So other optional methods we haven't touched. So that is number of rows and cell for row at index path. So number of rows, I'll expect an integer value from you. So we returned as 10 rows. And in cell for row at index path, we did three things. We created a cell, we added some data, we returned the cell. Okay. At last, so let's see how it works actually. So we did something, but it started working, but we should know what is the flow, how it works, right? So basically this method, right, number of rows, which will get called only once. Okay. So based on the number of rows you're specifying here, the cell for row at index path will get called. If I give 100 here, this method will actually get called 100 times. Okay, if I give 10, this method will get called 10 times. Okay, so every row, so every time when this method is getting called, a cell will be created, a value will be added to it, and it will be returned. Okay, so based on the number of rows, this method will get called. So now about this DQ reusable cell. So what is the purpose of this? Is an existing method. We are just calling it. So imagine you are having a table view cell with like couple of images, buttons, sliders, so many objects, and it is heavy, and you are having 1,000 rows. Okay, users can scroll on and on. So this will actually affect your application's performance. Okay, each row is an object, it's a memory. It will take up space and it will directly impact the performance of your application. If you give 1,000 rows, so now we are just having a title with 10 rows, that is not an issue. But you are having 1,000 rows, 1,500 rows, for example, with heavy table view cells. So what will happen is your application performance will reduce. So to avoid that, we can use this DQ reusable cell method. So what it will do is, so whatever the number of rows is, even it is 1,000 or 10,000, for example, user can see a specific number of rows at a time, right? If they are using iPad, for example, maximum they can see based on the row height, they can see 10 to 12 row. Or if they are using iPhone 4s, maximum 5 or 6 rows. They cannot, to see the 7th row or 8th row, they actually have to scroll the table view up or down, right? So, but they can see maximum of 6 rows at a time. So what we can do is, using this DQ method, we'll be creating only 6 or 7 rows, whatever the user can see at a time. Okay. So if user either scroll up or scroll down, a cell, the topmost cell will move away from the screen, right? Go up, right? So it is not visible to the user right now. So we'll be using the same object. We'll be reusing the same object, just update the data and use it as a 7th row. So even if you have 1,000 rows, you are actually having only 7 instance. The same object we are reusing. So this will actually increase your application's performance and your application will work smooth. Okay, user will get a seamless experience while scrolling to the table view. So that is this DQ reusable cell method. So even without DQ reusable cell, you can create rows. This will look very fine if you just have some simple 10 or 20 rows with just the title. But in a real world application, it is not like that, right? It is like take YouTube or Facebook, for example, like each row is having more data, it's heavy. So you should use this DQ option. So it will reuse the cells and it will increase your application's performance. So that is the whole idea. Okay. So you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are various types of cells. So we just created the first one, the default cell, just the title, and we have like subtitle and style value 1, style value 2, basic level of customization. So for implementing a table view, the steps you have to remember is first thing is you have to implement the protocol. So we did it here, right? I adding an extension. So this is implementation of protocol. That is the first step. And then you have to conform to the protocol. So once we did this, we got an error, we fixed it. So that actually added the couple of methods, right? So that is conforming to protocol and setting the delegate and data source. So that we did it here. So that is a crucial part because if you miss the other things, you'll be getting any errors or warnings. So you can easily find out what is the issue. But if you just miss this step, right, linking the data source, it will not show you any error or any warning, but your table view simply don't work because this method will not get called. So that is the most crucial thing you should remember. So without that, your delegate and data source method will never get called and your table view will not load up. Okay. So we just saw a simple introduction to Swift. So what is the table view, how to create a Xcode project, how to create a table view, and how to build and run the project. So building and running is simple. You can choose the simulator here. You can just hit on this play button, or you can use the shortcut key Command B or Command R to run the application. Okay. So is it clear? Able to follow? Am I going any like fast or? So you just share the feedback after the session. That is what I'm expecting from you. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
okay. Great. Then.